Hey folks, what's shaking? Man, it's that time of year again here in the Mile High City off-season mode, where the snow's still piling up outside, but inside my head, it's all about scheming for next season. You know me, I've been riding with these Broncos through thick and thin, from the glory days of Elway slinging it to those rough patches where it felt like we couldn't buy a win. Last season? Phew, what a turnaround. Bo Nick stepping up as our franchise guy, that defense finally clicking like a well-oiled machine, and Sean Payton calling plays that had us believing we could hang with anybody. We snuck into the playoffs, made some noise, but bowed out earlier than we'd hoped. Now, we're staring down this rebuild window, not a full teardown, mind you, but smart tweaks to push us over the hump. And right on cue, the league's serving up some chaos that could play right into our hands. Let me paint the picture for you. We've been harping all through the preseason grind about needing more firepower around Nick, someone who can turn a quick slant into a house call, stretch those safeties deep, and give our offense that extra gear. We've tossed around names like it's fantasy football, A.J. Brown with his contested catch magic, Njoku's athleticism at tight end, even George Pickens' big play potential. But what if the guy we've been overlooking, the one Paytonite at the trade deadline but couldn't quite pull off, suddenly hits the market? That's the buzz right now, and it's got me pacing the living room, coffee in hand, breaking it down like it's 4th and goal. First off, let's talk about this Miami Dolphins dumpster fire. They're not just stumbling, they're in full freefall, folks. This is a team that looked like contenders a couple years back, with all that speed and flash. But injuries, bad contracts, and some questionable coaching decisions have them waving the white flag. Their own front office is out here saying it's time to blow it up and start fresh, painful in the short term, but necessary. And why's that music to our ears? Well, for starters, it means one less AFC beast we have to worry about clawing for a wildcard spot. Remember our schedule last year? We had that third-place ease in the West, dodging some bullets. This year, with the first-place slate, it's brutal road trips to powerhouses, divisional wars every other week. Facing a gutted Miami squad? That's like drawing an extra bye week. We play 'em, and if they're tanking for that top pick, maybe eyeing a stud like Archie Manning in the draft, we're walking in favored heavy. But hold up, because the real gold in this mess is the talent they're about to flood the market with. Bradley Chubb's the first domino, yeah. Our old draft pick, the edge rusher we took over Josh Allen back in the day. I still get flashbacks to that. Elway falling in love with Chubb's motor, passing on Allen's upside because we'd burned ourselves on Paxton Lynch's arm talent before. Safe pick, right? Turned into a solid player for us. Helped set franchise sack records before we flipped him in that blockbuster for Payton. Now, Miami's cutting him loose after holding firm at the deadline, even though teams were dangling second-rounders. 9 sacks last year, and poof, he's gone. Regret city for them. But for us? Nah, we're stacked at edge. We shattered our own sack record last season. Jonathan Cooper, Nick Bonito, Baron Browning rotating like pros. No need to chase that reunion. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Tyreek Hill's next on the chopping block. The cheetah himself. But let's be honest, he's not the same blur he was. That nasty leg injury late last season, needing another surgery, turning 30 to father time's knocking. And the off-field stuff? Payton's built this roster on character first, no shortcuts. We've seen how that pays off. A locker room that's tight, no distractions leaking into Sundays. So, for us, Hill's a hard pass. But imagine if he lands in our division? Vegas odds have the Chiefs as frontrunners. Patrick Mahomes reunion, all that nostalgia. Their content creators are hyping it like it's destiny. But think about it, KC's already in cap hell, squeezing every penny for their core. Tying up more on a risky vet? That'd hamstring him further, force tough cuts elsewhere. Or the Raiders snagging him, third in the odds, pounding the table. They'd think it's their ticket to relevance, but with Hill past his prime, losing a step, it'd be fool's gold. Either way, it weakens our rivals while we stay disciplined. I'd crack a cold one watching that unfold, shifting gears, though the crown jewel here could be Jaylen Waddle. This kid's been on our radar since the deadline. But Miami wanted the moon. Now, with their rebuild in overdrive, dumping Tua Tagovailoa to massive cap hit incoming, they're desperate. They'll take scraps to clear the decks. And Waddle? He's everything we crave. That blistering speed, sure, but it's the route running polish, the hands, the yak wizardry that sets him apart. Younger than Hill, more complete repertoire like a souped-up Deebo Samuel, turning bubbles into 20-yard gashes. Pair him with what we've got. Courtland Sutton's your possession beast, jumping over corners for those contested balls on third and medium. Marvin Mims, pure burner, stretching the top off defenses. Troy Franklin's bulking up, adding that intermediate threat. Pat Freiermuth, wait, no, let's say our tight end crew handling the seams. But Waddle fills the gap. No one's consistently turning short into long without heavy scheming. Last year our yak led the league, but it was all those screens to backs and quick outs. Imagine Waddle weaving through arm tackles, turning a 7-yard dig into 15. With Nix's accuracy improving, it'd unlock levels. What worries me, though, is the cost. If it's our first rounder, the 30th pick, would I do it? In a heartbeat. We're drafting late anyway. The value's in proven talent now, not raw prospects who might bust. But let's speculate. Picture this scenario where Miami, knowing they botched the Chubb holdout, lowballs themselves. We slide in with the second and a day 3 pick. Snag Waddle without mortgaging the future. That'd reshape our offense overnight. Defenses couldn't load the box anymore. Nix gets clean pockets. Our run game opens up. Remember how we struggled in those playoff games against stacked fronts? This fixes that. On the flip side, if they hold firm and he goes elsewhere, say, to a contender like the Ravens, it'd sting. Watching him ball out against us, circling back to that A.J. Brown chatter from Philly, ESPN's floating this trade mock. Our second, 5th, and Riley Moss for Brown plus their 5th. On paper, Brown's a stud physical, wins at the catch point, been a top 10 receiver. But dig deeper, and it screams red flags. He's got that diva rep, whining about touches, and at 27 mil against the cap, oof. We're finally cap healthy under Payton. No need to blow it on a rental. And Moss? Kids turned the corner, literally. Those early PI flags were rookie jitters. But last season, he locked down no 2 seconds, provided depth when Surtain tweaked his pec and missed time. Our secondary's special because of that next man up mentality. Yaquan McMillian, Damari Mathis stepping in without a drop off. Levi Wallace? Exposed big time in spots. Got torched by speedsters. Trading Moss guts that insurance, especially in a league where corners drop like FLIs. No, thanks. I'd walk away laughing. This all ties into the bigger offseason wave. Teams are slashing before June 1st to dodge dead money. Expect a flood of vets hitting free agency. The receiver market's thin right now, but cuts could change that. I mind Cole Kmet from Chicago. Bears have young pieces, might not ray up him. He's that athletic tight end Payton loves seam stretcher, red zone mismatch. Fits like a glove next to our group, adding another layer to the pass game. Or James Conner from Arizona. Cards are retooling too, and Conner's a bruiser between the tackles, low mileage, no nonsense. Wouldn't break the bank, shores up our backfield without chasing stars. Thinking long term, this Dolphins implosion highlights how quick things flip. A few years ago, they were the darling speed kills, innovative offense. Now, scrap heap. We've been there. Post Manning, cycling through QBs, bad drafts. But Payton steadied us. Smart picks, culture buys. Nix isn't flashy like Allen or Mahomes, but he's efficient, processes fast, limits turnovers. Last season's growth, those comebacks against the Chiefs, the shootout with the Bengals showed poise. If we add Waddle, it's like handing him a cheat code. Defenses respect the deep threat underneath opens. Our O-line held up well, but with extra attention outside, even more pockets. Let's reflect on patterns. Remember 2024? We were scraping, post-Russ mess. Payton arrives, cleans house, builds through trenches. Sacks skyrocket, run D stout. Offense? Methodical, but lacked pop. 2025, Knicks emerges. We hit playoffs. Now, 2026 windows cracking open. AFC West's vulnerable. Chiefs aged, Raiders chaotic. Chargers inconsistent. If we strike on Waddle, Boyd traps like Brown, we're contenders. But here's the flip. What if Miami rallies, keeps Waddle, or another suitor outbids? Payton's patient, but fan in me wants action. Combine's days away, scouts buzzing on prospects. Free agency in weeks. Draft in 2 months. Training camp summer, and first weekend without football hit hard. But breaking this down with you keeps the fire lit. So, tell me, what's your move? Go all in on Waddle with the first, or hunt cuts like Komet or Connor? Hit the comments. Let's debate.